In Ames, nearly first place finish, and we're going to win New Hampshire. Congressman Ron Paul.
Go to campaign headquarter openings, here and there, and they always say, well, come to the headquarters, the volunteers are going to be there. So I always expect at least 30 or 40 people. So when I was driving up, I was rather impressed, I tell you. This is a wonderful thing, we did have that rough and tumble on the media on the weekend, but I think this has made up for it. Reported, the media coverage on Sunday morning was less than perfect for us, and then we had a pretty good interview scheduled for Monday morning, and I thought, well, and then right before we were supposed to go on, or the evening before that, they called and they said, "You've been canceled." So I didn't know exactly what was going on, but generally, if you stick to your guns and you're persistent, things work out in the best manner. And I would say that in the last 2 days we've sort of made up, because the issue has become the fact that I did not get any interviews on Sunday morning. And then there's this guy on the Comedy Central or something. I don't know his name. His name is Jon Stewart. I think I've been on his program once or twice, and I think he's thinking about getting me on again. But you know what? I think that is a perfect example, because if we took all of his beliefs and all of our beliefs, I'll bet we'd have a few disagreements. But isn't it wonderful that somebody like that comes to defend us, because he's an honest person, he wants the truth, and when we do agree, he lets people know. So this is why I believe the message of liberty really does bring people together. And that is also the reason why I'm so encouraged, because, at times I've been criticized for my lack of ability to give public speeches and all these other things, but I'll tell you what, where I get my energies from the people like you who are energized, because there's a very valuable message. I've never backed off on the message, because I think the message is the message we need. It's the message that made America great, and there's no reason in the world that we should allow our system of government and our republic to be destroyed. We need to reverse things. We need to get rid of our empire and emphasize the American republic that would protect our freedom. And it's been talked about and emphasized over the many years how long I've been doing this, and it's sort of interesting that the day that I had my epiphany on politics was on August 15th, 40 years ago. But I've been talking about that issue for a long, long time, because I think it's very important. I think sound money is connected to free markets and the freedom message and the Constitution, so we can bring this all together. But it fascinates me, and I'm sure it must fascinate a lot of you also, because although we've been talking about and thinking about and understanding it for so long, who would have ever thought, the former Speaker of the House would come out for audit the Fed? And now we have a Southern governor, I can't remember his name, who's coming into the campaign. So he realizes that talking about the Fed is good too. But I'll tell you what, he makes me look like a moderate. I mean, I have never once said Bernanke has committed treason. But I have suggested very strongly that the Federal Reserve System and all their members have been counterfeiters for a long time. And that is a pretty serious crime. The founders thought they should get the death penalty if you ever counterfeited our money. And there aren't that many national crimes put in our Constitution. You know, we have counterfeiting, and we have treason, and we have piracy, and we have slavery. But just think, there's 4 major crimes that are national crimes. But wonder why we have 100,000 bureaucrats from Washington carrying guns telling us what to do with our lives and our property. That is what we have to reverse, because it is out of hand, it is out of control, and I think the people know it. And I think this is the reason why this movement is growing. It's growing not only because the message is right, but out of necessity. For a long time, you know, as long as you could live off past wealth and borrowed money and printed money, people weren't too worried about the principles of where wealth comes from. But we're down now to that point. And it's not only us who are willing to take care of ourselves. Those who have been on the receiving end are getting worried too, because they know there's something very, very bad about this deficit, and there seems to be no control whatsoever. And it is our freedom message that has the answers. It's the free market that has the answers. It's our Constitution that has the answer. It's sound money. So it's all there, and we don't have to invent it. All we have to do is convince people that it is the answer, and we cannot forget that the economic system is very important, dealing with gold and the spending and the entitlement system. But there is one thing for sure: if we want to return prosperity and jobs in this country and get our budget under control, we must change our foreign policy. We must bring our true colors. We're getting more and more support from the veterans and active duty personnel. I didn't get to mention it. Maybe I should have taken the opportunity over when I was in Ames. But I do mention as much as I can, and I think you all know it. But the fundraising for our campaign from members of the military, we exceed all the others put together. That is a powerful message. We've come out of Ames, although the media didn't recognize exactly what happened there. I think the people are recognizing it, and we may have ended up getting more attention the way they handled it. But, we were essentially tied for first place. It did prove that we have a good campaign staff. We were able to raise the money. We had the volunteers, and we had the energy. But I'll tell you what, it looks like this energy has spread to New Hampshire. We still have a ways to go. You know, they claim our campaign's been very good at winning straw votes, and they don't mean anything. Of course, this one came close to meaning something, and that's why they had to doctor up the reporting of it. So we're getting very, very close. So I would say we're not that many months off. Here we are in August already, and we don't know the exact dates, and they're going to move up if anything else. So we're talking about a little over 4 months or so. Come January, we're going to be having the real McCoy, and that's why the momentum has to continue to build. That's why this really encourages me. It should encourage all of us, and it should encourage this whole movement of moving our country to freedom and believing in these things. So it does take a lot of hard work. There's no doubt about it, and I understand there's going to be a lot of hard work done over here, and that can't be done by just 2 or 3 people. It has to be done by the volunteers, because that makes all the difference in the world. We will be able to raise a decent amount of money, a significant amount of money, but quite frankly, we're not going to have as much money as some of the others. They're going to have a lot of money, and therefore we have to make it up with the energy that we have. And money is very important, but there's been some candidates who have had a lot of money, a lot of their own money, and then win elections. So that's far from it. But I am absolutely convinced the need for our message. I'm absolutely convinced our message is correct economically and on foreign policy and monetary policy, personal liberties. I mean, what other candidate in the Republican Party is talking about personal liberties? Why are Republicans and conservatives not supposed to talk about personal liberties? They may throw that term